Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, February 3rd, or the 15th, where I am, and I hope everyone's having a good start to their week. I'm sorry I didn't get a video out yesterday. I was actually doing some research for another one that I don't quite have ready yet. I'm waiting on an answer back before I record it. But this one's called Harry, Another Lie Exposed, and Meghan's connection for diamonds. Now, I'm going to start in a roundabout way, and I'm going to get back to the title of this near the end of it. So stay with me. This is my disclaimer, and you'll also find it in the description. So, first thing I want to talk about, if you'll remember that Princess Diana had dated a heart surgeon whose name was Hasnat Khan. So this was published, back in 2017, but I'm just using it because it tells a little bit of their history. Things you didn't know about Princess Diana's Mr. Wonderful. Princess Diana's friends have called him the true love of her life. Princess Diana was beloved for the public for many reasons, including her warmth, her beauty, and her passion for helping others. She was also subject of constant tabloid speculation as the press tracked her every move. A never-ending subject of fascination were the men in her life. And we all know that, like we believe Meghan does, that Princess Diana had certain journalists and authors that she spoke with, and she had even her astrologer came out and said that she was one of the many friends who leaked things to the media for Diana. So Charles, her life came to an end seated in the back of a Mercedes beside Dodi and Fayed, a playboy who, by some accounts, Diana was ready to wed. But I'll talk more about that. But somewhere in between relationships and those two high-profile men, Diana fell for someone else that friends believed to be the one true love of her life. His name was Hasnat Khan. He was a Pakistani heart surgeon with whom the princess had a 2-year on-and-off-again romance. As the 20th anniversary of Diana's untimely death has passed, here are things that you need to know about Mr. Wonderful. And this is a picture of him. This was a number of years back. And I'll give you an update on where he is in his life today. He met Diana at work. Diana spent much of her life doing charity work. Her reason for being in London's Royal Brockman Hospital one September day in 1995, it was personal. She was visiting the husband of a friend who was recovering from heart surgery, according to the Telegraph. Hasnat Khan had assisted in the triple bypass surgery, according to Vanity Fair, and Diana was instantly attracted to him physically. Isn't he drop-dead gorgeous? The friend, Onak Tofola, recalled her saying. The princess then returned to the hospital following that visit almost every day for 3 weeks to pursue Khan, reported The Guardian. Diana saw something special in him, and I'm just whiting out some of the areas that don't pertain as much. As one friend of Diana's told Vanity Fair, when you think of the kind of man that Diana have met or been with or seen, here is a man who is completely and totally selfless. She said she had never met anyone like him. Indeed, after years in the public eye, Diana seemed to crave normalcy. Khan called to police that once, when the couple was out at a pub, Diane wanted to order drinks She just wanted to order drinks like a normal person. Their love affair started out as top secret. When calling the hospital, Diana would leave messages for Khan using the name Dr. Armani the designer, according to The Guardian. And when going out with Khan, Diana sometimes went so far as to disguise herself with a black wig and dark sunglasses. So why all the secrecy, you might ask? For one thing, Diana was hounded by the paparazzi at every turn. Again, a lot of it was her fault, and that was not a world that Hasnat Khan wanted to be a part of. He said, I told her that the only way I could see us having a vaguely normal life together would be if we went to Pakistan, as the press don't bother you there, Khan revealed in the article. Number 4, he and Diana couldn't make it work. Gemma Khan, a friend of Diana's, or Jemiah, I think it's called, friend of Diana's and wife of Hasnat's distant cousin, told Vanity Fair that Diana was madly in love with Hasnat Khan and wanted to marry him, even if that meant living in Pakistan. But despite her trips to Pakistan to woo Khan's strict Muslim mother, Diana could not move the relationship forward. She was visiting there for, I think, a charity or something she was doing, and she had arranged a secret visit for her to go and meet with his family, and she wanted to be able to see if that she could get their approval, because, of course, she was not of the same faith or background as was Hasnat. He was a Pakistani, and they typically like for them to marry through arranged marriages. I think Hasnat was very much in love with Diana, but had really reached the end of his tether because Diana pushed him to go public and say we're a couple, and he just wouldn't. Tina Brown said in the last 100 days of Diana, so she gave him an ultimatum: either we go public or this isn't going to happen. It didn't happen. Even after 2 years, the relationship wasn't leading to a meaningful progression or conclusion that the main stress on both of us, Khan told the Daily Mail. And of course, we know Paul Burrell, Diana's butler, talked about how he would secretly smuggle him in through the car bonnet or in the back seat, covered up, so that he could have meetings with her at Kensington Palace. Number 5, Diana may have tried to make Khan jealous, and many believe this is what it was, that she really was not perhaps in a relationship with Dodi, but Muhammad al-Fayed had called him back to entertain her on the boat because they were about the same age, and Dodi was actually engaged to another woman at the time. In the final summer of her life, Diana caused a stir when she was photographed aboard a yacht embracing Dodi al-Fayed, the son of Egyptian billionaire Muhammad al-Fayed, who was the owner of the famed department store Harrods. Author Sally Bedell Smith wrote in her book, Diana in Search of Herself, that Diana's friends had revealed that the photographs in the photographs. Message received. Years later, Khan would reveal that he had heard about Diana's relationship with Fayed on the radio. I think she wanted to be with someone who was happy to be seen with her in the public, and that she could do that with Dodi, Khan said, adding, I think Diana's finally realized that al-Fayed could give her all the things that I could not. And again, he wasn't sure if there was a relationship, but this is what happened. Number 6, he tried to call Diana the very night that she died. Richard Kay, a friend of Diana, said in the last 100 days of Diana that Khan attempted to reach out to her that night, but was unable to get through. I think he was worried about her, said Kay. I think he was worried, as were a lot of her friends, about what she had gotten herself into, that it was such a high-profile thing and that all of these people were going to be chasing her around. Now, remember, the royal family didn't remove her royal protection. That was something that she chose not to have any longer herself. So Harry has got that wrong, so he needs to go back and talk to people who were familiar with his mother during that time. He's since moved on. In 2006, Khan wed Hadia Shia Ali in an arranged marriage with a lavish ceremony in Pakistan, according to The Telegraph. Just 18 months later, the couple split. Now 58, he's currently listed as a consultant cardiac surgeon at Basildon and Thurrock University Hospitals in England. Number 8, Diana and Khan's relationship was immortalized in a 2013 film, and I saw this. Naomi Watts starred as the title character in Diana, while Khan was portrayed by Naveen Andrews, best known for his role in Saeed on the hit series Lost. The film hones in on the final 2 years of Diana's life, featuring her romance with Khan. Prior to the movie's release, Khan slammed it in an interview with the Daily Mail. It's been based on gossip and Diana's friends talking about a relationship that they didn't know much about, and some of my relatives who didn't know much about it either, he said, adding, there wasn't any hierarchy in our relationship, and she wasn't a princess, and I wasn't a doctor. They were just two people. So let's talk a little bit about this, Dodi and Diana's relationship. By all accounts, Diana and Dodi met in 1986 at a polo match when she was still married to Prince Charles, when Charles and Dodi were on opposite teams. Khan states that after Diana visited Dodi on his yacht, she broke up with him, and they had been together for 2 years. So what she's saying is, as soon as she went on Dodi's yacht, so her and Dodi had not had this romance that had been going on, but she had visited him on the yacht, and when she came back, they had decided that she wanted to break up with him. And I think it was because she was pushing him and he just wasn't budging after 2 years. So, Wyon says Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed romance was all fake. Report says couples slept in separate bedrooms. Well, we know that she was on the yacht and that she had had the boys there. The boys were taken back, but that she had Mr. Fayed had Dodi come back to be on there, to be of her age and to entertain her and get to know her. I think he secretly always wanted them to be together, but Dodi was actually engaged to another woman at the time. So, this is where I'm going to tie something in. Prince Harry on Dodi Al Fayed and the Princess Diana's relationship. The Duke of Sussex appeared on the Me You Can't See. Now, we know this was the Apple Plus series with Oprah Winfrey, in which he talks about, how about himself and what people couldn't see in him. But Prince Harry made a rare comment about his mother, Princess Diana's relationship with Dodi Al Fayed in the mental health series, The Me You Can't See. And this is where we get into the lie. He said, history was repeating itself. My mother was chased to her death while she was in a relationship with someone that wasn't white. And now look what happened. Want to talk about history repeating itself. They're not going to stop until she dies. He's speaking of Meghan. It's incredibly triggering to potentially lose another woman in my life. Well, Harry would very well know that she had dated the heart surgeon Hasnat Khan, and he was Pakistani, and Dodi Al Fayed was Egyptian. So he wasn't the first man of color that Diana had dated. So this conspiracy theory that he has in his mind and in his statements that he thinks that they were chased to their death because his mother was dating a non-white man, is just not true. There were people that knew about her relationship with Hasnat Khan, but they just kept it very private because that's what he wanted. He wanted to be able to focus on his work and keep his private life separate. So Harry, again, this wasn't the first man of color or non-white that your mother had dated. And they had dated for over 2 years. And they were in a very serious relationship. And your mother wanted to marry him. And I'm sure that the palace knew about it because at that time she had a royal protection. So that everybody would have known about Hasnat and other people at the palace. It's just they allowed her to have her privacy. So that's a lie that you said about what happened to your mother in the Me You Can't See. The late Princess Diana and her boyfriend Dodi tragically passed away after they were involved in a car accident in Paris in 1997. At that time, Prince Harry was just 12 and his elder brother, William, 15. Now, I want to tie in something about his wife. So, Dodi Fayed is the Egyptian film producer and the son of billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed that owns Harrods. He says he was the romantic partner, now this is just on Wikipedia, of Diana, Princess of Wales, when they both died in a car crash in Paris in 1997. Now, when they were leaving, going to go back to his flat, and they were leaving the Ritz that his father owns, some said that he was going back to his private flat because that he had had a ring for. Maybe he did have a ring, but I don't think it would have been an engagement ring if they had just started up this relationship and he was engaged to another woman. So I think Harry has just not come to terms with it, and maybe he's contacted Mr. Al Fayed himself, and because he seems to have this conspiracy even after the inquest was completed and it said that it was ruled an accident or blamed the driver for his being over the legal limit and was intoxicated. But I also think that the chase that ensued and people feel like that somebody in the car may have told them to go faster to get away, and you're playing a very dangerous game when you do that. But relatives of Dodi, or Amal Fayed, is his half-brother, but Jamal Khashoggi is his cousin. Now, Jamal Khashoggi, the cousin of the Al Fayeds, was a journalist, and I want to tell you, and I tie this into Meghan. He was a Saudi Arabian journalist, descendant author, columnist of the Washington Post, and a general manager and editor-in-chief of Al Arab news channel. Was assassinated at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October the 2nd, 2018 by agents of the Saudi government, allegedly at the behest of the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Now, I watched documentaries on this, and he was engaged to be married, and his fiancée was actually waiting for him in the car outside of the embassy. And after an hour or so later, when he didn't come out, and it was closing, she tried to go in to find out what had happened to him by saying he went in for a meeting, but he didn't come out. And we had they had plans, very special plans, and were moving forward with their wedding. So she knew something was terribly wrong. So let's hold that for just a minute. So it says that Khashoggi fled Saudi Arabia in September 2017 and went into self-imposed exile. He said that the Saudi government had banned him from Twitter and that he later wrote newspaper articles that were critical of the Saudi government. Khashoggi had been sharply critical of the Saudi rulers, King Salman, and the Crown Prince of Mohammed bin Salman. And he had opposed the Saudi Arabian-led intervention in Yemen. So now let's look at this. So this guy was murdered, and it's been said that it was at the king's son, the crown prince, Mohammed. This is a picture of him. Now you ask, why am I bringing this in? Because it was alleged, and I can't prove this part, so this is just rumors, that Meghan Markle had been with the Crown Prince, and that she was one of these women that were part of a harem that would be entertained and spend time with him for money and been on yachts with him. But what I can tell you for sure is, as Harry and Meghan were getting married, he gave a very expensive pair of earrings, and you've heard in other videos, and I've even made videos about blood diamonds. So let's tie that in. Meghan's blood diamond earrings. Meghan Markle has been condemned for wearing extravagant blood diamond earrings gifted to her by a controversial Saudi prince. She has been slammed by those fighting for justice for murdered Jamal Khashoggi, who was related to the Al-Fayed's, the cousin, as they were given to her by the man accused of ordering his death. And he still hides out today. Meghan still has the tainted diamond earrings from Saudi Arabia Crown Prince in her collection. This picture that you see, where you see the earrings, is when she attends a reception and dinner hosted by the president of Fiji at the Grand Pacific Hotel, Suva, in Fiji in October of 2018. Now, I want you to keep that in mind, and she's also worn them on other occasions. So let's talk a little bit about how this works with a member of the royal family receiving such gifts. Female members of the royal family are regularly loaned priceless jewelries by the Queen. For example, Princess Beatrice, for her marriage to Edoardo Mapelli Mazzi in 2020, was lent Queen Mary's diamond fringe tiara, the headpiece of the Queen wore on her wedding day to Prince Philip in 1947. The Queen also lent another of Queen Mary's tiaras to the Duchess of Sussex on her wedding day. Remember, she wanted one, but they couldn't find out the source of the emerald tiara that she wanted, and it wasn't the one that Eugenie wore, but she did wear one, a tiara with an emerald in it, or several. There are strict guidelines around accepting gifts as a member of the royal household. The official policy in place since 2003 makes it very clear that royals should think carefully about the reason for the gift and not accept it if it could be seen to put them under obligation to the donor, or if the donor expects something in return. This might include clothing, which, if worn, could commercially benefit an individual. That's why they didn't want her wearing all these gifted dresses. They were expected to buy the dresses and purchase them, and it was alleged that she would have Jessica Maroney try to get people to donate clothes to her because she didn't want to pay for them. She wanted to keep the money that was given to her for her clothing allowance, allegedly. Members of the family can only receive personal gifts, which they can keep if they meet strict conditions. They're to be given by people known privately to the member of the royal household and not in connection with any public duty, or they must be worth less than £150 and come from the bodies or individuals with whom the member of the royal household has an established relationship. Well, through the royal household, Meghan never had an established relationship with him. So does that tell us that she felt like she was entitled to keep him because she had a private relationship before she began dating Harry? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, they are classed as official gifts, which are not the personal property of the individual royals. And what that means is it's to stay with the royal jewels, which we know Meghan took hers with her, along with a lot of other gifts that were supposedly reported to be worth in the upper teens of millions that belonged to Princess Diana. So, just going on to that a minute, but I just want to know what you think about that, and let me know in your comments. But I wonder how Harry feels knowing that these diamonds were gifted to her, that she kept them, she didn't follow royal protocol, and she still wears them on occasion, so that, and she shouldn't, because she's definitely breaking protocol, but that it ties back to the Fayed family, which whom the Dodi was murdered at the same time as his mother. And I wish Harry would grow up. I think he's mentally stunted in a period of time when he was a small boy. And while he seems to be in his little guru speech, encouraging other people to get help and that there's no shame or stigma in it. I get that. But again, they're not therapists. They're actually life coaches. But I think he's just spouting all of these facts or little buzzwords that you would use to try to, get people over to that surface. But what I don't think Harry has come to grip with himself, because I think he needs to see a private therapist. What is it that causes the trigger when he flies into London? What is it that he feels so damaged, or why does he blame the family for his mother's death when she's the one who refused the royal protection? He just doesn't have all the facts, and I believe that's because Meghan, in my opinion, is behind him, gaslighting him and goading him on to believe that the person or people he should be mad at is his family. And that's why they won't be able to move forward until he has a different way of thinking. And he needs to stop saying these things that against his family, that they were not happy or might have been out to get him because of who his mother dated, because Hasnat Khan and their relationship for over 2 years is the proof that we need to know that that wasn't the case. And the royal family, while they may have been concerned who she dated or who she went out with because her son was the future heir to the throne, I don't think they would have tried to control and couldn't have done anything about any decision of whom she tried to marry. So, Harry, we've caught you in another lie. And so just keep on saying what you want to say out there. And